Hi there, you're listening to the Conversations with Uncle Kevin podcast. This is a podcast that inspires dreamers to pursue their passions and inspire their journeys. My name is Kevin Masundiri and I'm best known for my YouTube channel, Uncle Kevin Reacts. In this podcast, I sit down with achievers, overachievers, and doers to talk about their process, lessons they've learned, and how to make an impact.
All right. Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Jayden Martin. If you've been listening to this podcast from day one, his name comes up every time. Erica, Maria, Bigfoot. Everybody is always, oh, Mr. Martin, Mr. Martin.
That's me. Hopefully it's good things though, you know?
The jury's out. But yeah, everything. This is the first man that told me how to throw a punch in my life. I thought I used to know how to fight, but you learn something new. Is the walking Maria's podcast, I called it being a real life superhero. This is like meeting a UFC fighter in person.
Oh man, thank you.
How you doing, sir?
Good. You know, I'm excited. You've been kind of I haven't been putting you off. I haven't been avoiding you. It's just, you know, dad life and everything gets caught up. So I'm glad I'm able to make it in here now and chop it up with you for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's been a minute. I've been building up. I had to interview everyone else to get a sense.
I know. I was starting to think. I was like, "What's going on here, man? This guy's interviewing everybody but me. Did I do something wrong? Is it because I caught him in that triangle choke? What's happening?"
It's not the choke. See, this is one thing I tell people. You punched me in the liver last year. I've never forgotten that.
Liver shot will do that for sure.
Yeah, I was like, I can take this guy, and then you punch me. And I think, like, in my head, I was like, oh, it's just a punch. I can keep going. And then my body just couldn't move.
No.
Like, okay, defend yourself at all times. I gotta change. I started to Google. Like, I used to just come and learn. And then from there, I was Googling, okay, how do you defend yourself? How do you do this? So every time I'm sparring with anyone, it's like, what did they say?
Oh, man.
I don't want to get hit.
Yeah, exactly. Getting hit is overrated.
Yeah. And then, like, I've been watching your fights, like, the last fight was what, 2019?
Yeah, July 2019.
How was that?
I was good until I blew my knee out.
Yeah.
I was doing good. It was my return fight. You know, I was having a hard time getting an opponent going up until that point. I actually switched organizations. I signed a 3-fight contract over there, and first round was a 10-8, dropped the guy with like an opening. The first combination I threw, I dropped him, cut him up badly, dropped him again. I was pretty much having my way with him. He didn't land any punches, threw a jumping knee, landed funny, blew my own knee out. And then, you know, the rest is history.
And you didn't want to stop. So that's one thing. I was like, Mr. Franco is like, hey, he's done. You're like, nah.
No, because he asked me going. I knew my knee was messed up at the end of the first round because I just gave out. I got up. I didn't want to show that I was injured at all. I didn't know the severity of it. Walk back to my corner, sit down right away. I tell coach, like, my knee's messed up. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, okay, you know, just don't throw any kicks. Just move around. We'll see how it is. Because we didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
Of course, instincts go moving around, pop him with a jab, throw a low kick, fall. Right? So that's the second round. I fight off my back in the second round, almost submit him with a Kimura, but can't move my leg. Go into the third round. He's like, do you want me to call it? I said, no. Right, there's no way. Like, as a fighter, you're going to go out on your shield. He's either going to have to knock me out or submit me, but I'm not going to give up.
Yeah.
And I cut him pretty bad. Going into the third round, they called in the doctor.
Yeah.
So maybe I think 30 seconds or so into the third round, again, my leg gives out. He gets on top or like to side body. And then I hear the ref just goes, it's over. I'm like, oh, it's over. And I'm like, yes, the cut. Yes. Yes. And then I just hear his ACL's gone. I'm like, oh shit, that's me. Like, all right. Oh,
yeah. Cause I was watching. I'm like, I think I don't know if the cameras picked it up, but like, this guy is just keeping going, but you can tell he's wounded now.
Yeah. They thought I rolled my ankle. Right? Because when I threw the knee, I landed funny on it and they thought that I rolled it and fell down. If it was a rolled ankle, no problem. But it was so strange. It was one of the first times in my life where it didn't hurt, but my leg just wouldn't compute. Like, it wouldn't respond. It would just collapse. It's like when Chandler fought, right? And I got that nerve, you can see him moving around and it just would go limp. Yeah. Same thing. I was standing there and I'd take a step back and it would just give out on me and I'd fall. I'm like, oh, this sucks, man. Like, I can't move my leg. It was unfortunate. And, you know, again, I would have gone the distance and, you know, made the guy have to finish me, but that's why we have coaches to make sure that we're, you know, smart not so hard-headed. And, if I would have fought the extra 5 minutes or 4 minutes, could have made it even worse. I don't know how, because the whole knee was gone, but that's why we got coaches.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. And how's been your road to recovery ever since?
It's good. I took it really seriously. It was kind of prolonged surgery-wise because of COVID. COVID hit like right away, and then I was supposed to see a doctor within like 3 or 4 months, and then it turned into like a year and a half. But it worked in my favor, I would say, because it gave me more time for prehab and to learn more about the actual anatomy of the knee and how to make it stronger. Mm-hmm. So that's why a month after surgery, I was sparring with Bigfoot, right? And getting him ready for his fight. And don't tell my surgeon that, because I told him we're supposed to assess return to sport, and in 10 months. Yeah. 10 months I'll be having a fight. So
You're tough man. Yeah. I used to see you. I'm like, how does this guy do it? I thought I was tough, but
you are. Don't discredit yourself on that. Don't discredit yourself.
I was like, I've seen it. And then like, what got you into MMA?
It's kind of it's an interesting story. I started MMA because to lose weight as a kid, because I had epilepsy, condition that I had seizures. Mm-hmm. So they put me on medication for it. And it made me gain a lot of weight, or I was like 20, 30 pounds overweight as a 10-year-old kid. And plus I had braces, and, being the youngest boy out of, I think like 10 boys in the family, there's a lot of them, not cousins, right? Okay. It's a lot of them. So, being the low man on the totem pole, I wouldn't get picked on, but you know how it is. Boys are rough, right? So I had this aggressive side to me, and my dad was like, you know what, you need to go A, lose weight, B, stop being so angry, and go be active, go do something. So he signed me up at FKP MMA with Chris Franco, and I've been there ever since.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. From 10, how old are you?
27.
17 years in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I am with 4 months trying to do something. And then when did you decide like, oh, this is going to be my career?
I had my first amateur fight, like cage fight, in grade 12. So I had just turned 18, but I had been competing in tournaments since I was, I think, like 12 or 13. I didn't really think of it as a career until later on. Like as a kid, you're partially fighting. Like I was really competitive, so I wanted to prove to myself and compete in tournaments, but also you kind of do it for clout. You're like, I want to have all the medals. I want to make sure, I'm fighting in the cage. I'm winning. Like when I had my grade 12 year, a week after my birthday, I had my fight for like 2 weeks at school. I was like the man, everybody knew, right? And I was the only person that competed in any type of combat in my high school. So, it was awesome. And then that kind of, that like rush of like, whoa, this is a little small taste of fame, right? You're like, this is fun. And, at the end of the day, you get paid to punch and kick someone, right? And it's all legal. It's all fun. It's competitive, right? And it kind of satisfies all those urges, I guess you could say. But, I never thought of it really as a career until I got a little older. I was just more focusing on coaching, teaching, and that type of nature.
Oh yeah, pretty cool. And how was it getting your first paycheck for fight?
Not as good as you think.
Really?
Well, the numbers are quite low. There's not a lot of money in fighting. So, when you go into it, and I know a lot of fighters can probably attest for this, is you're not really doing it for money. You're not, unless you're in the and even in the UFC, like it's starting in there, you don't make that much money, man. You got to be a big name guy. You got to be a top 10 dude. But right now, especially at this level, it's, you're making money off sponsors. Yeah. But your actual fight purse is not the best. Covers your medicals and whatnot.
Not worth it. That's what I was telling Erica. She was like, would you fight, what's his name? Jake Paul?
Oh, hell yes.
I was like, if you put money, I don't care if it's Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Put the money, knock me out. I'll go home. You can make all the memes, but I got $1 million in my bank account.
Exactly, man. It's a win-win for a lot of these guys. And that's why, like, with the celebrity boxing, there's no loser. Yeah. Okay, you get knocked out for sure. You make all your sponsors, you make your $100 million or whatever it is. Yeah. You win. Okay, now like that's why all the celebrity guys, Jake, Logan, even Tommy Fury, man, of course they want to fight boxers. They want to fight real fighters. They make so much money, and if they win, you're the guy that beat Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. It's like, it's insane.
Would you ever go into boxing?
It was something I actually considered with my knee. I wanted to stay busy competing. And obviously the wrestling and kicking component was a little risky early in the recovery stage, but I wanted to just box and see how that went, right? But then at the end of the day, you know, I've considered myself a pretty good boxer, but where I shine is in MMA with grappling, with the wrestling, with the elbows and knees and so on. So, yeah, you know, just focused on healing up the knee, and then now I'm back in the cage, MMA, which is, you know, where I'd rather be.
So you just rather hurt people, like
it's more weapons, it's more options, right?
And elbows and knives is like the same thing, like
100%. I've unfortunately too many has slipped through during training with Kaio, and he's got hard elbows, man. It's a good thing I got a hard head.
Nah, it's like when I watch you and Kaio spar, cause I like I'm sparring someone, but you're like. Let's see. Like, damn. Like, how do you do this every day? Like, every time you guys fight, it starts with pop, pop. And then it's like, okay, this might actually be a real fight, people.
You know, I've had, it's funny, you know, we got to get reeled in a lot. Like Mr. Franco's always like, lighter guys, lighter. And it's not that, you know, we don't like each other. Like Kaio is like my brother, right? Like he's been with us for 6 years. I've helped him get ready for every fight that he's had under our banner. And he's one of those guys, and you know, he says the same about me, where we can go full out and not have to worry about hurting each other, right? Whereas like sometimes there's a size difference or there's a skill discrepancy, and you know, we got to kind of play the game of, you know, speed or technique. But with the two of us, we can go at it, and I know like if he hits me, I'll be okay, and if I hit him, he'll be okay. Yeah. We're both super competitive. We're the same age, right? We're both professional fighters, so we have that kind of like, it's piss and vinegar, right? It's kind of like, okay, I got you this time, you got me. So it's not always like that, because that's how you end up with CTE and you have a very short career. But it is fun for sure. Like as sparring with him is probably one of my favorite things to do besides actually fighting, because it's the closest I can get to an actual fight without, you know, an actual fight. But it is definitely a lot of fun. He's a beast.
Yeah. I stood in front of the two of you, and every time I'm there, I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? Just come. Because I read a book, right, where it was like, if you go anywhere, you have to go for the biggest, the meanest.
Prison rules.
You have to go I'm like, you know what? That was good theory, but I regret this decision right now. Just survive and go. And then Kai, one time he came to me, he's like, you almost got me. Like, bro, I didn't almost get you. I was just trying to make sure I don't die. Like, whatever happened, blame Mr. Martin. Because every time I'm just thinking, what did he say? Do this. And sometimes it just happens. The body does its own thing. Like,
we'll come up with the Bigfoot kryptonite next time. Don't worry, I got you. We'll come up with a secret
just
plan.
Survive. So when with MMA, what's your favorite? Like, jiu-jitsu, wrestling?
You can't. That's tough. You know, I started off really just being into the grappling side of things, partially as a kid because I wasn't as good with striking. So, you know, when you're younger, for the most part, you want to do things that you're good at and kind of neglect the bad. Yeah. Like I remember being like 11, 12 and Mr. Franco would be like, okay, we're sparring kickboxing. I'm like, my ankle hurts. I can't do that. You know, I got a little sore back. Yeah. And, you know, and as you get older, you realize like, if this is what you want to do, if you want to get better, you got to run towards the things you're weak at, right? Mm-hmm. And make them better and make them your strengths. So I like grappling. But the feeling when you land a good liver shot or a good punch or a good low kick, it's just like, it's euphoric. Like if it's a really good feeling. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I would say just like by a sliver grappling, because you don't have to get punched in the head, and you know, that's not a lot of fun.
But yeah, I guess for you, that thing is you're well-rounded, right? You're not like,
thank you.
I don't know. From what I see, is like everything. You
have to be. You know, MMA is an ever evolving sport every single day, and you know, as you get older, the competition gets younger. Like there's a guy who is like the face of BFL, Achilles Estremadura. He was the 155 champ. He's a beast. 7-0 as a pro. He just fought on the Contender Series, Dana White's the other night, and he fought. Achilles is 29, like the number one knockout artist in Canada is what they're advertising as. He fought a Chinese guy who was 22 years old. Yeah. So, you know, he's good. He's really good. He's getting older, and the 22, and he's just got a contract to the UFC. Like that's insane. Right. So these guys are getting younger. The stuff they're learning is more advanced, and you gotta evolve. You gotta be good everywhere.
Question is, how are you that good though? Like, you know, I watch you just go, guys, we're gonna do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're like, okay, I can do that. You're like, no, don't throw your hand like this. Yours is like straight up. How do you move like that?
Practice, man. Practice the same way, like, you know, with your interviewing skills, like you gotta, you know, get your rounds in, right? You've been doing it for, if I try to interview somebody, it's gonna be terrible. I've been teaching classes or training in classes for almost 20 years, right? So, God, that makes me sound old when I think of it in my head. But, you know, when you're doing this day in, day out, like I'm in that gym 6 days a week, every day or every week for 17 years, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's sweeping the floor, you're going to be super good at sweeping that damn floor, right? Yeah. So it's just repetition, just like with the punches. You practice your punches, you get better.
Yeah, like, you know, I want to see him. I want to see you in Kamaru. But then now you left welterweight. Disappointed.
I'm running from him. That's why, man. He's the Nigerian nightmare. Like, who wants to?
Well, 205 now, you have Paulo Costa waiting for you.
Yeah, well, I'd rather take Paulo Costa than his drunk ass, you know? Who do you got for that fight tomorrow, actually?
Kamaru.
Yeah?
Of course. But see, Kobe, I don't know. He's like...
I give him this. He's very good. He's a dick. Personality, he's terrible. But as a fighter, he's tough. He's got good hands. He's got good wrestling. He's a good fighter. Oh, yeah. He's just a dickhead.
Yeah, that's the thing with him. Like, I don't know how he does it just to stay under the radar. Everyone, you want to see him get beat up. It's like, he's
smart. He's doing the Chael Sonnen, man. He's smart. Like, Chael was always a really good fighter, but nobody really cared until he was running his mouth with Anderson Silva, right?
Yeah. And
then the whole thing with Vanderlei. And then, like, he was the bad guy. And you love either love or hate the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
And in Colby's case, he's split right down the middle, you know, depending on which hat you wear.
And I love how, like, interviews are like, Kobe, am I talking to Kobe? Am I talking to Chaos? I'm like, he cannot tell you. Because it defeats the purpose of everything, right? Because you just need him to be, But yeah, I like him. I wish I was fighting someone else. Like, I like seeing him win, like what he did to T Wood. It's like,
yeah.
Everyone hates him, but you're like, yeah.
He did really good. And, you know, who would you rather see him fight? Usman fight?
Usman. Right now, Khamzat.
Yeah? Yeah. I don't think he deserves that, though, man. He doesn't deserve that shot. He's viral. Just because you're viral, doesn't that mean you get a title shot? But like, they were saying that Dana wanted him to fight Nate.
Yeah.
Nate doesn't. No, I get it because Nate's on a decline and he's coming, but not yet. Nate's been around for over 10 years, right?
But then who comes up fight though? Because it has to be a fun fight. You can't just say fight. You can fight. What's his name? The karate guy.
Wonder Boy.
Yeah,
that would be good. That could be good because Wonder Boy's, you know, he's up there. I think he's still ranked, but he's kind of, you know, not everybody's favorite guy. So he's you know,
it comes like you need someone who can speak as well. This is like the guy he just fought the leech. Like, I remember watching the bad guy. It's like, I only remember his name is the leech. Nothing else. And you need someone like that who speak up and stand for him. Because the way the leech was dominated, I'm like, hey, how are you in the UFC?
Yeah, well, he's just Khamzat's such a beast, man. Like, he only spars with 205ers apparently.
Oh yeah, just like you.
Well, I only got one guy, so.
But so, do you have plans to go to the UFC one or the other one, Bellator?
Bellator, you know, that's the goal, but it's easy to go, you know, pick up a basketball and say, I'm going to be in the NBA, right? Yeah. You got to make steps to get there, and right now, I have a fight December 3rd in BFL, and that's my return fight, and that's all I'm really thinking about. And you can't overlook anybody. The guy I'm fighting has over 30 fights. He has, you know, he's lost some, win some. His record is, he's a journeyman. Mm-hmm. But I can't overlook him and start thinking about the next person, or like, being in the UFC and like, I'm going to fight this person. You got to fight who's in front of you, and you make those little steps and little goals towards your big goal, right? So UFC is obviously the big name, but if I get a Bellator or, you know, a one offer down the road, then, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be picky, right? Beggars can't be choosers. Know your worth, but at the same time, right?
But is there a fight out there that, like, beat the UFC? See, I thought you'd be 170, but you look at it and be like, I'm going to fight out. Let's say just a dream matchup for you, personally.
At what weight?
That's the thing.
I've dabbled in a couple weight classes at this point now.
Alright, at 170.
170? There's a lot of guys, actually, you know, like, I'd love to fight, you know, honestly, Masvidal.
But is Masvidal that good? You see, Masvidal, I don't know.
I think he's underrated. You know, everybody thinks he's just, you know, a tough guy. He's got punching power, but he's actually pretty good. He's got good defensive wrestling. Even his grappling is pretty decent. Just never has to use it, right? I like him as a personality and a fighting style, and I think it would be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
You know, I like him. He's a cool guy, right? So, I'd love to fight Ben Askren. Boxing, whatever you want. I'll take it. Take the $1 million, whatever.
All right. Yeah. Would you fight 185?
185. Yeah. The thing with that though is, again, you got a guy like Paulo Costa who's 240 coming down to 185, but you know, again, my main sparring partner is 245, right? And I spar with him every single day. So yeah, I don't know. I would probably prefer to fight at 170 just because it's my natural weight class, right? But I wouldn't be opposed to 185.
All right, Mr. Martin versus Whittaker. That would be. I think that would be a good one for you. That would be interesting. Because Whittaker, I think, is underrated. Like people are like, they look down upon him because he lost to Easy in the fashion he did. Mm-hmm. But I've been watching his fights. It's like, oh, okay, wait, this guy is actually pretty good for what he does. But then he does it in a way that's like, he's beat, like the way he beat up Teo to where it seemed like what is it? The commentators were saying, oh, these guys are playing a chess match. But for me, what I was seeing was Teo getting beaten up every time.
So who's this?
Robert Whittaker.
Whittaker. Oh yeah. Whittaker's good, man. That left roundhouse kick is nasty.
So it's like when people, I feel like the way Easy beat him up.
He's just, you know, he's not quite an Anderson Silva, but he's the closest thing this generation has to it. You know, his striking is insane. His grappling is really good. His wrestling is really good, right? And his confidence, like he's got that Roy Jones like swag, you know. And in combat and fighting, the more you believe in yourself, it's like home court advantage, right? If you go in there, like that's why when I'm always in class when I'm teaching like head movement to you guys, I'm like, you gotta just think you're the best. Think you're Mayweather. Think you're Canelo, or the head movement. The more confidence you have with that type of stuff, the better you're going to be. And sparring is the same way. Fighting is the same way. Right? So Izzy's a beast.
Would you fight him?
Yeah, I'd fight him for sure.
How would you beat Izzy?
How would I beat him? You gotta get past those long legs. That'd be a tricky one, actually. You can't stay in kicking range, that's for sure. You can't stay, you know, down the pipe there, and he's just gonna light you up. Can't rush him either. He's really good at counter punching. I think footwork, fakes and feints, get in on the inside. Either make it dirty with the striking, a clinching range, or try to work, you know, a little Randy Couture action. You know, up against the cage, dirty box, elbow, knee. Just don't let him break, because the second you get out, he's gonna throw some spinning shit at you, or he's gonna keep you at the end. And he's just so long. Like his arms and his legs are just so lanky. That's a tough one. I would love the challenge, you know. And for me, I like to think of these situations as well. But at the end of the day, the ultimate strategist is coach, right? It's Chris Franco. So he's got the fight IQ to help me. You know, I just follow orders. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put out this clip and say Canadian fighter challenges Israel Adesanya to street fight.
Oh man, street fight. Okay,
street fight.
Okay,
street fight. No, bricks. Okay.
I might not be
He says he joins the UFC. That's the only fight he wants. And then 205. Who you got?
I'll take Costa, man.
I'll take it. Why not?
He's 205.
Why not John Jones? Bring John Jones back.
No, I'm out.
John Jones with his there's a kick Maria hates. What's it called? The side kick?
Yeah, the oblique kick to the knee. I don't like that either. I think it's a good kick because of the results it gets, but flip side of the coin, it's a terrible kick because of the results you get. And I have a lot of sympathy for knee injuries now. Yeah. You know, you throw one knee kick, you blow your opponent's knee out. At the end of the day, we're not enemies, right? Unless you're Usman and Colby. You want to, you know, see this person be able to provide for their family and continue with their career. You blow their knee out, there's a good chance they could never fight again, right? So I think that should take the place over the 12-6 elbow, because that elbow is what it doesn't. There's no difference, because like in every fight that I've had or been in the back room of the rules meeting, they say this is illegal, this is legal. What is that 1 degree of difference going to do, right? Yeah. John's only loss was Matt Hamill, right? With that illegal elbow. So, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that kick. You see a lot in one. You see a lot of the Filipino guys in one. They just boom, flying side kick into that knee.
But in one the rule, I saw, was it? They can knee you when you're on the ground.
Oh yeah. Dude, old Pride rules. You ever watch Pride?
No.
You need to watch Pride. Pride is in Japan and in Asia, the rule sets are a lot different. Yeah. So in Pride, you couldn't elbow on the ground because it could cause like cuts, and if a cut happens in the fight, stops, right?
Yeah.
You can soccer kick the guy, you can stomp them, you can knee them. So you have like Shogun holding the ropes, the guy in the corner, and he's like stomping him in the head. Perfectly legal.
Yeah. No. Because every time I'm on the one YouTube, I'm like, how? Why do they allow this stuff? Like,
because it's awesome.
You can kill someone.
It's awesome.
Like one girl had to stop herself. She's like, hey, ref.
Yeah.
The ref is like, fight. She's like, yo.
In one, it's great too. Actually, no, I don't think they do it in one. But in Pride, what they did is if you're inactive, they give you like a yellow card, like in soccer. Like, hey, you're running away, yellow card, take a point, or red card, DQ. So they want the action. They want to put on a good show for the crowd, right? I like that.
Don't kill each other.
No.
Just fight. And then what advice would you give someone who wants to be a fighter?
You gotta really make sure you want it. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it for, like, even if it's for like a paycheck or for, like I said, clout earlier, like you need to really know this is what you want to do, because fighting doesn't discriminate, doesn't care. Like, it's a team sport. You train with other people, you know, you got your coach, you have your corner, but when they lock that cage or when you step through those ropes, they can't jump in and help you, right? They can't help you. So all of the training you've done up to that point, you need to be confident in the fact that you can hold your own, and you got to make sure that you have it in you, because when you get hit, it's easy to win when you're winning. Yeah. When you get rocked or blow your knee out or you get a bad cut or you're tired, that voice that pops up in your head that says just give up, you can't listen to that voice at all, because you know the other person is going to eat you up otherwise.
That is true. I've been there.
Yeah, we all have, right? That little voice. It's easy to listen to that voice that says like, man, you're tired. I'm like, okay, like, just gotta say, shut up, right? Get out of here, or else, you know.
I remember the second or third day I did sparring for grappling, and I was getting choked out. I was just like, you know what? Why did I shower to come here? How? Like I'll be laughing, because a lot of times, I don't know, people, they do it, but they're not talking you. Like, and then I'm just thinking to myself,
this inner dialogue.
Why? What are you doing? Man, I don't know. See, this.
Why am I paying for this?
Yeah, like, this person is really trying to choke me out, and then you look up at the face.
Isn't it such a beautiful thing though that you can go in there, choke someone out, get choked out, and then go, "Hey man, good job."
Yeah,
it's such a weird like thing to do. Like, you can't go up to someone in the street and go, "Bam."
Yeah.
Right? But here, like, we're getting kicked in the head, we're getting punched, choked, and it's like, wow, that was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was like, this is I'm getting weird.
You gotta be a little weird. And to add actually on top of fights, advice for fighters, you gotta be a little crazy. Anybody that wants to go and lock themselves in a cage with someone to get punched and kicked, you cannot be all right in the head. There's gotta be a couple screws loose, right?
You gotta be crazy. But then, like, when, I don't know, with fighting, because lately I've been good at giving people like the guillotine, right?
Yeah, that's
but
true.
then some people don't tap out, and then in my ears you hear someone go, like, are you okay down there? How do you treat such situations?
Sometimes you just gotta, be the bigger man. If you have the choke on and the person's being stubborn, they're not tapping, a lot of gyms will just say like, put them to sleep. They have to learn. Yeah. But that's, you know our gym really well. That's not what we're about, right? Yeah. We don't want people. We have teenagers training there. We have kids. That's not the message we want to send. So, you have someone in your guillotine, you're going, you hear that gurgle, you let go, right? Yeah. And then the right thing for them to do is goes like, you got me. But if they keep going, then okay, whatever, right? Keep going, get you again. Right?
Yeah, because you're like, okay, am I doing this the wrong way?
No, the gurgle is good. It's good. David Chen actually, he had me, because I've been working my defense a lot, been letting people put in chokes. Yeah. And he had me deep, like sunk under the back, hooks in, rear naked choke, and I got out, and he's like, "Oh man, you worried me there for a second. I could hear you." I was like, "Oh, it's close. It's close."
Yeah. okay, you win now.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched the Ortega Volkanovski fight.
Insane. Great fight. Probably candidate for fight of the year. So good.
But do you think that fight should have finished though? Because
no, it should or
Ortega should have been at some point, like when they were doing the finger thing. I thought he was out.
But it depends on the referee too. Like that is a world title fight. It's a really close fight back and forth. If the fighter is, you don't want to be the one that takes that away. It is the refs and the officials' job to make sure the fighter is safe. But at the same time, you got to walk that line. And I think it was Herb, right? Herb's a good ref. He is. He's been around for a long time. He's kind of taken the place of Big John, right? In the UFC anyways. So he knows. And if you were to just call it, that's on him, right? And he's already had some questionable calls in the past. So Ortega was doing good. He was still defending himself. He was taking a lot of shots, but he was attacking for submissions. If it was just super one-sided, I was shut and he was all cut up, then, that's one thing. But it's a tricky line, man. People, it's easy to talk bad about a referee, but you got to think like how much stress they're under, being there, having to make those calls. So I think Herb did the right thing, and it was a great fight. And I love that Volkanovski was hammered at the press conference afterwards.
And if you were in Volkanovski's corner when he got that guillotine, what would have been going through your head?
Well, did you watch The Ultimate Fighter at all? The one that they coached on? I didn't get a chance to see it, but Craig Jones, right? Yeah. He is a very, very good grappler. He was one of Danaher's guys at DDS, and I think they've opened up their own academy now. They're called the B team. Yeah. Like all the guys from Danaher just left and made their own team, but he's a really good grappler. He is one of those guys that he kind of adopted he didn't train with them before, with the Danaher guys. And he kind of was like copying their style in a sense. And he got really, really good at it to the point where they were like, hey, come train with us. Yeah. So he's a really good grappler. Having him on the team and having him roll with Volkanovski and working with him is like, it's like gold. So I was surprised. Volkanovski's head looked like it was going to pop. Like when he had him in the guillotine from mount, and then he had him in the triangle, and then I think he had him in like a darce or something. There was a third submission, but man, I didn't think he was going to get out of that the guillotine. Yeah, his head was veins popping, his eyes were bloodshot, the hooks were in. But again, that's the X factor, right? When you're in a situation like that little voice never popped up on his shoulder, right? That little guy was just like, fight. And he got out and he won, and that's why he's the champ. Yeah,
that was, man. I thought he's done. And it was so unfortunate because like he was winning, right? Like Ortega was there, but it's like guillotine out of nowhere and then just choking. Like, man, and the triangle. I hate the damn triangle. Yeah. That thing always gets me.
You got thick legs, man. You got big legs. So for you, like it's harder for you to clamp, right? Yeah. But once you get it, you're tapping people out. But you got a guy like Ortega, whose legs are super long, lanky. It's just like clamp up and you're stuck there, right? So
yeah, it stinks. Like you can tell when someone's like holding your hand, puts them like
you're like, I know it's coming.
Here we go. Here we go again. And Kai's always like, keep your hands tighter, like bro.
Isn't it the worst? Like I get it because like I do the same thing. Like I'll coach, but like isn't it the worst when you're like someone has you in a submission? They're like, yeah, you're doing well. Do this, and you're like, man, just tap me out.
Like, yeah, you win. Yeah, I get it. Then like you're frustrated, but then like, cool it down.
So learning everything. It's either you win or you learn, right? In martial arts, so it's good. A lot of people can't take that ego wise. Yeah. And the people that can, like yourself, are the ones that stick around and get better, right?
Oh yeah, it stinks because I know every time I'm about to get trying, I see the hips coming up. I see like, what did they say? Go that side. And then the one Ethan gets me all the time with is the armbar.
Armbar, yeah.
So his armbar, I can tell it like, oh, there goes that leg. Oh,
Ethan is good. He's we're talking about. There's a student at the gym. He's 14 years old, but he trains in the adult class. Ethan Harlock is the future. Like he is so damn good, especially at grappling. The kid is like he's a prodigy when it comes to grappling. Absolutely. Yeah. his hit list of the adults in the class of everybody he's tapped out is quite extensive. It's pretty good.
Yeah, like I wait. The first I sparred with him like the striking when I was doing striking.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this kid, what the hell, man?
Because you look at him too, and he's not the biggest kid. Like you look at Mike Tyson when he was 13, he looks like a 27-year-old man, right?
Yeah.
He is huge. Ethan is like this, he's slim, he's, a little bit shorter in height, and you're like, oh, okay, his hair is always nice, right? You're like, okay, and then he's like a sleeping, lying man. He gets in there and he gets that mouth guard on, he's a beast.
Oh yeah, and he's biting down. Like every time he sees you big, he bites down. You're like,
he's going to be, if this is what he wants to do, like he's pretty active in the local tournament scene, but if he wants to do this like professionally or at a high amateur level, he's going to do very well. Like I always tell him, he's like, one day I want to tap you out. I'm like, you will. You're going to be better than me. And that's, as a coach is what you want, right? I don't want to hinder him. I want him to be better. And he will. I told him he's got probably 5 years though.
Yeah. How is it like training kids, like babies?
Well, we don't train babies.
For me, anyone under the age of 10 is a baby.
Yeah, true enough. It's good, man. It's awesome. It's, I think, really helped me with being a parent myself is like working with kids and understanding how to deal with them and how to teach them. And our program is really structured already. So to be able to have a sense of discipline and structure for a 4 and 5 year old or even a 3.5 year old is quite tough. Like, you see kids at the mall and they're running around. It's like chaos, right? But even other programs like at gymnastics and you're like, oh my God, but for us, like the kids all know proper lineups, proper etiquette, they bow, yes sir, yes ma'am. It's like the same as the adults. So, shadowing Mr. Franco and coaching under him and coaching beside him, he's been doing this for over 30 years, right? He's really well versed in coaching and teaching in general, let alone with kids. Yeah. So I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And again, I can't wait to have my son eventually join the program, right? Like I watched, I grew up in the kids program, right? From 10 and up, and I've watched Mr. Franco's daughter grow up there too. And then now I have my turn to have my son in there, and it's going to be really exciting. Like, cause it's more than, I think martial arts we're trying to teach them. It's, a lifestyle, respect, discipline, proper etiquette, and self-defense at the end of the day. So, it's a lot of fun and it's really rewarding too. When you see a kid that comes in that's super shy, super nervous, or maybe has ADD or ADHD or, social anxiety. And then, a few months later, they're wanting to demonstrate, there's smiles on their face all the time. And then they even do competitions. Like it's crazy to see the flip side of, how it can affect a kid.
How are you guys patient though?
Practice.
I had a 3-year-old, like, bro, every time my sister leaves me with a kid, she comes back. He never sleeps this time. I'm like, yeah. I never sleep this time. It's been up and down. I'm the worst babysitter. We get pizza. When we going out, you run.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
run the whole day.
You just come back when the street lights come on.
Yeah, right? Run. He's like, I'm tired. Run.
Keep running.
And then make sure you sleep.
That's awesome.
A lot of times they're babysitting me.
Yeah.
I can't deal with it. And how's it being a father?
It's great. My family is very, I have a lot of kids in my family. My cousins, they have a lot of babies. So I've always grown up around a big family. And, obviously I want to be responsible and not be having a kid when I'm not financially stable or, I'm not ready to be a father, but I've been wanting for a long time, and I've been with my wife since grade 8, right? So probably since grade 11. Okay, so no. I'm like, okay, the voice of reason here, right? But she gave birth to my son Kai about a year or 15 months ago. It's almost a year and a half. And it has its ups and its downs for sure, but we've gotten over that initial hump of where he cries all the time, he's up late, and now he's just like a fun person to be around. This morning I wake up, wake him up, we go sit, make breakfast together, he drinks his milk, we hang out, play with the dogs, and he has a personality now. So it's everything I wanted. I'm very happy, and on days where I'm like, show up with a coffee, I'm like, I'm tired. It's again, cost of doing business. So I asked for, right? So it's great. I'm very happy with it.
And how has it affected your perspective, say, on fighting or even on life in general? Did it change or is it the same?
you know, the cliche of like, now I'm fighting for something more than myself.
Yeah.
Yes, right? Because I want to make sure, not so much like, so I can provide like financial security for him and my family. It's not in that sense. It's, I want, you know, candles only lit for so long, especially in combat, right? So I want to do as much as I can within that period of time. And if I become the 170 or 205 UFC champion, that's great, right? But, you know, if I have a couple fights and I do the best I can and then that's as far as I go, that's fine as well. But I just want my son when he's older to be able to see that and go, okay, this is what my dad did, right? This is, and be proud of it. And at the same time, use that as motivation for whatever he has in his life. It may not be fighting, and I hope it's not fighting, to be honest. Yeah. But, you know, if he wants to be, you know, a sick painter or, you know, the next, I almost said Kanye West. I don't think I want to be the next Kanye West either. But, you know, whatever it is, like, he can use that as a driving force to do whatever he wants to do.
Nice. And your wife, how does she view your career?
She, it's mixed. Like, she's very supportive. She likes it. And she's like, you know, you don't really get hit or, you know, it's fine. If you're getting beat up, that's okay. Yeah. But, you know, she's, same thing though. She doesn't want me to be unable to be a father. So like with injuries and, you know, whatever it is, you know, brain trauma that comes with it, she just wants me to be able to play with my son when he's older and be able to go to things and not be like in a wheelchair, so to speak, right? So she's really supportive though. She's been to all my fights. She comes to all of them. She's always front row and she's got nothing.
Watches your fights. Man.
Yeah. Oh man, she's right in the mix.
Respect.
Drinking one hand, you know, drinking both hands.
I watched Fury Wilder, like how they were showing Wilder's wife. I'm like, come on guys, don't do that.
No.
Like one touch, she's like, yeah. The other touch,
yeah, she's, you know, what'd you think of that fight?
The Fury Wilder.
Yeah.
Well, Wilder proved himself, but then for me, I'm not about. I respect fighters, but it's like sometimes you don't just show up to say I have heart. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. You win, but at what cost, right? Like,
I think it was a great fight. Like, I think it brought a lot of eyes back into boxing, especially heavyweight. But I also think, like you said, at what cost? That trilogy has permanently messed Wilder up for the rest of his life. I don't care what the amount of brain trauma that he has from those 3 fights alone is going to screw him up forever. Because those boys are big. They are big and they hit hard and they're tough. So like Wilder, again, has heart, has a chin. That doesn't matter. He's getting rocked with those shots. And the fact that they stopped it as late as they did, oh man, I feel bad for him.
It reminds me of the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight.
They should have stopped that way earlier. The second Max started doing commentary, okay.
Like, man, protect the fighters.
And going back to being a referee, right? He's too tough for his own good, and you can see that he's not going down. He's defending himself as best he can, and he's still engaging. But you gotta be like, man, you have kids. You gotta go home to a wife or a family or parents, whatever it is, right? Like, man, because I don't know. Did you see there's like a footage of Dana at ringside?
Yeah.
They're like, bring him to the hospital right away. Like, don't even worry, do nothing. Just get him out of there. No interviews. Get him to the hospital. I don't want him to die, man. It was insane.
Yeah, it was like, that's where I went. Respect fighters. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. I'm not doing that.
Recreational fighting movie.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's not for everybody, man. Like, if you look at that and you go, damn, I want to do that. Again, a couple screws loose, right?
Yeah, Tony Ferguson said, I don't know what reporters were asking him. He's like, you guys, you sit there, you ask me questions. Go to your gym, get punched in the face, then come back and talk to me. I was like,
exactly.
It makes sense, but
I'm good.
I'm watching. I'm a fan. I'll bet. Like, Mr. Martin's fight. Yeah. And then, how's your YouTube life? I see you guys.
Man, the YouTube.
It should be called Caitlin and Jayden, by the way, because it's mainly her.
Yeah, it is, but you know, the name rolls off the tongue a little better when it's Jayden. She's the one that came up with it. She put that right. And initially, it started because we had our kid during COVID, right? And we have a lot of family that we couldn't see, and she has family overseas. So mainly, it was so that family can see the baby, and you know, we're not pulling in 10,000 views per video, but it's actually got us quite a bit of sponsorship and partnership and stuff on her end. I don't do much. I'm just there. It's just her that she does all the legwork. But a lot of brands have reached out and given stuff for Kai and for her and for the house that we just have, and nothing for me yet. But I'm still waiting. That's why
you're not there.
But I'm there in title. Come on, I should get.
You just show up. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm the driver. I just drive around. But it was something that's kind of like a hobby in a sense, and if something comes from it, great. I'm not trying to be, or we're not trying to be full-time YouTubers.
Yeah.
Although if I could get my foot into the YouTube boxing door, then this could be my way. But
it's a matter of time, man. Yeah. Because the thing with YouTube, the more you do it rewards you, right? Like YouTube needs content, and your videos will be longer. I was trying to watch everything. Now like
40 minutes. Yeah, it's because again with us just moving in, it's like we have 3 weeks worth of footage. It's like, oh damn, how are we gonna do this? So I don't do anything. It's her like, damn, how am I gonna do this? It becomes a 40-minute video. But she's been into watching like 40, 50-minute videos that are just in the background, like as background noise. She does the dishes or she's doing things. She looks over, watch, and it's kind of like a podcast, right? Yeah. So I think that's the route that she's trying to go down. We'll see.
This is editing. That's what I love about YouTube. You see the development of a person like from day one.
Day 2, day 3. The editing skills and right.
The music now makes sense there.
Yeah.
And then the dog. Cute dog.
Oh, thank you.
I'm coming to steal some. What's his name? Okay, I forgot the name. What's their name?
Yoji and Kenzo.
That's the
Kenzo, the white one?
Yeah. That's the one. I saw it on Instagram. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Yoji's got anxiety. You don't want to steal him.
Like, I'm gonna catch you in the alley and just...
He has no stranger danger, so you can probably get him. He's we're working on it.
Yeah, I was like, I need a Shiba. I need it. I want it.
Yeah.
But then, is it a lot of hard work? I was told they're hard to train.
They're like cats. So in the sense where, like a dog will want to play fetch and go outside. These guys sit around the house and just don't do anything. Like Yoji just sits in front of the fireplace for hours and just sits there and then gets up and scratches his bowl. He's like, it's time to feed me. You feed him and then goes back and sits there. Like he's more like a person or a cat than a dog. But they're super loyal and they're really, ours anyways aren't really outdoor dogs. So if you like a dog that just chills around, the dog's for you.
Okay.
Super cute, love to cuddle, and not so big, so you're not paying, for food every other week, buying new bags of food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just want. See, I wish dogs would talk. That's.
I think that sometimes because they understand what you're saying. Like when you talk to them, they get it. So I'm like, what are you thinking right now? Why are you looking at me like that? Why is your ear twitching? What's wrong?
That is normal thing. If they're good child, I have it. It's like babies when they're babies. I'm like,
what do you want?
Yeah. I'm like, dang. Stop crying.
Yeah.
Anything to make it okay. You want a toy? No. Food? No. What? Get it. Should say that though.
Exactly. Use your words. What are you doing?
Alright. Okay. How do you handle losses?
Well, fortunately, I only have
0 losses.
No, I have 2.5. I would say. Mm-hmm. One with my knee, obviously, and then one in a grappling tournament when I was legitimately submitted, and then one where I flipped a coin and let my teammate armbar me, so I don't really count that one. The one submission loss I have, to this day, I want to avenge it, because the guy still fights. I don't want to say his name, I'm not going to be that guy, but it's been a build-up for a while, like people... promoters have been trying to set this up, like even as an amateur, they were trying to set it up and pay us under the table. Yeah. As a super fight, no, I'm like, I want to do it legitimately, right? But it sounds so petty because I was like 16, but it's still there. It's in my head. I'm like, this is my one loss, and it was crazy. Like I got submitted with 1 second left. If I knew that there was 1 second, I wouldn't have tapped and I would have won. Yeah. At the time, he was already fighting in BFL. He was a lot older than me. I think he was the amateur champion when I was like 16. Okay. So going into it, they were like, oh, so-and-so's in your division. I'm like, what the hell is that? That guy was like, that's Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. What are you talking about? This tall guy? This tall dude? Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's this, he's that, he's this. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Met him in the finals. Took him down. Supposed to be this wrestler. Couldn't pass my guard. Right? You're supposed to be this big bad guy. And then he went for like a Hail Mary and caught me with a Japanese necktie. Just such an obscure submission that I didn't even know at the time. So I was like, what the hell? Okay. Caught me 1 second left. I was like, oh, yes. So I want to avenge that one. That one I'm not handling too well. But the knee, that's something that's out of my control. And it's back to the drawing board. Having to deal with the knee injury has given me a lot of time to work on my mental. Like, this kind of attack, this comeback fight. And it's also built up I don't want to say aggression, I don't want to say rage because it's not that. This hunger. It's built up this hunger to fight and to prove and to remind people of who I am.
Y'all must have forgot.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly, right? So, and I think this fight, December 3rd, is going to do that. I want to make a statement. And then, was hoping everything goes good. I want to be really active next year and try to do 3 or 4 fights.
We did.
Yep.
Fans are loud, right?
Hopefully, because I thrive with the fans. I love it. I'm a man of the people,
Like the noise.
Oh, yeah.
And then question, what inspires your tattoos?
Tattoos. Most of my tattoos do have, I don't think that you need to have a meaning for every tattoo. It's an aesthetic, right? But most of mine do. All the small ones I have on my arm and my hands are, for the most part, I would say, except for this guy. And this one. These are the only ones that don't really mean anything. They're just there for aesthetic. Yeah. But I have my mom's signature. I have my dogs on my arm. Big anime guy, so I got a bunch of anime stuff. I have the gym, of course. This is my first tattoo on this arm. I have my son's birthdays, initials. My wife's signature here. I got a lot of stuff. I got an homage to my dad's terrible tattoo that he has on his arm. I got a better version of it. The leg is the new addition, all my inspirations in the fight world. I gotta add to it. And then, representing my heritage, my Greek heritage on this side, and I'm Filipino on my legs. So, everything, most of my tattoos do have some type of symbolism or meaning behind it. And every other day I'm like, that would be a cool tattoo. But thank God I sit on it for a little bit because I would look like Wiz Khalifa if I was just covered with terrible tattoos.
Well, would you ever get a face tattoo?
Not on my face. I thought about it though, at the hairline or on the back of my head up here. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not allowed. I will be able to come home if that's the case.
Is it not painful though?
The pain is temporary. Like the second it stops, you don't feel it. So, and for me, like people do numbing creams, people do that stuff, but I'm like, nah, whatever. Like. It's kind of like a competition with myself. Like, suck it up. Like, I'll never tell a tattoo artist to stop because of pain. I'll go until they want to stop. The longest I've done was 9.5 hours on my back. It was rough, man. It was really rough. But again, I'm not going to say anything. I'm coming to you. You're providing a service. I'm just going to bite down on the mouth guard and just let you do your thing. But it's it's worth. It's almost like a rite of passage, I guess you could say. Like originally when I got my the tribal on my leg for the Filipino side, I was gonna get it the traditional way with the tapping, and I realized why? There's no point. I know I'm tough. I don't need to prove that I'm tough because no one would be able to tell the difference unless I told them. Then I look like a douchebag, and it's why put myself through unnecessary pain? It's already painful. So yeah, it's not fun, but the end result is worth it.
Yeah, because every time I think about it, I used to think, I don't know, people just stick it.
Yeah, just a little water peel off.
Just peel it off, and then I go there, it's a needle, you know what?
Yeah.
Nah. But I do think of it. I want to get a pic of my mom on my arm.
Nice.
But then, the pain.
Yeah, but something like that, if it's for your mom, it's worth it, Yeah. If you were getting, a gorilla on your chest, that'd be a little different. You're getting your mom, right? So that's something that, you'll deal with the pain. And you'll be happy with it afterwards. So
yeah, when you got was it the Mike Tyson one?
Yeah.
Is it really that tough?
It's not that.
It's tougher than that.
Yeah, you can take it, man.
And then I go on the
internet.
Then I know. See, the face tag, if I get it, that means I can never go home.
Yeah.
My mom will beat it off me.
Oh man.
I used to get a mohawk.
Yeah.
I went home, I got it, paid
Shaved
so
it
much
off.
money, she's just like, go back.
Oh,
Take it off. So
that's awesome.
it's
That's
a
what moms
true-
do, though, you know.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to get the ladies. I'm a teenager. And then she's like, nope, not in this house.
Not in this house.
And then on your team, you have Coach Maria. How is she? That was training her.
It's good. You know, I've known Maria for a while. I think since she was 12 or I think so. She was just going into high school, and you know she's come a long way. And you know, outside of the gym, we're really good friends as well.
Yeah.
She's actually in a long-term relationship with my best friend, who's the godfather of my son, right? So.
Yeah.
Can't escape her, man. Can't get away from her. I see her at the gym. I see her at social events. Like, she can't leave me alone.
Well, she said you're her best friend, so
Yeah. Oh, she's damn. Okay. Yeah. Love her too, Maria. Over here talking all that trash, man. No, I love Maria. She's awesome. She's honestly like, she's such a good friend. She's a phenomenal martial artist, a great coach. Yeah, you know, I'm really lucky, all jokes aside, that I have someone like her in my life. She's awesome for sure.
Is there any other fighters of the gym? Only about 3 of you.
Right now that are actively fighting, but you know, Kenny Lee is a prospect that we're looking to get a fight on the December card as well, if not early. Kenny's been training with us for, I would say, close to 10 years. He's 0-0, but you know, you've sparred with him. He's good. He's good. He's fast. He's got good fight IQ. He's game. He's tough. Like we call him Patient Zero. Because he's like a zombie. He has no emotion. Like the only emotion is a little smirk when he gets hit, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Kenny, 0 body fat.
yeah, it's crazy. He got reverse COVID weight. When he came back, he was shredded. He, like everybody else, gained weight. And he's just like 0. He looks like Bruce Lee.
Oh yeah. Like, damn, bro. And he doesn't slow down.
Oh, he's got cardio for days. I can't wait to see him fight. Like I've seen him have wars in the gym. Like with David too, one of our other fighters. David Chen wants to fight again as well. His last fight was for the 125 BFL title, which was controversial. I think he should have won. His opponent's corner thought he should have won. The judges were, you know, I don't know what they were drinking that night, but their breath smelled like cigarettes and alcohol.
Don't leave it to the judges, they say.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, he's looking to make a comeback as well. And then as far as that, you know, our fight roster isn't as big as some gyms, but I think the quality is what's most important. You know, rather than having 55 people that dabble in being a fighter, we have, you know, 5-6 people that are really giving it their all in there every single day, right? And as a coach, that's what you want to work with.
Yeah.
You got someone that's going to pour their everything into it.
And that's pretty cool. Right, so now moving on to the section where these questions were written by 7-year-old, my nephew. So the first thing is, what are your inspirations, your inspirational fighters?
Inspirational fighters, well, you know, right off the bat, you know, it's I would say for MMA, mainly George St. Pierre, not necessarily just as a fight style, but, you know, growing up as someone that practiced MMA in Canada, he's like our, you know, superhero, right?
Yeah.
He conducted himself really well, was always really polite, very Canadian. You know, he'd show up in a suit, he wouldn't trash talk, he would go out there and he would let his actions speak for him and he would win in dominant fashion. And, you know, for him, that's something that I always wanted to be. I don't, you know, want to be that trash talking guy. And I get to a certain extent, you have to dabble, you have to do that dance.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the same time, if you're going in there and you're doing what you're supposed to do, that should speak enough for you. So GSP for sure. And then taking a step back, you know, Mike Tyson, the mindset, again, not so much the style because I'm not a short, stocky heavyweight, but the mentality, the ruthlessness, the style, the mental type of approach he took to fighting. And then Roy Jones Jr., of course, for stylistically, right, how he would fight. I'm a big fan of that. And, you know, even now thinking about MMA now because people that I look at for inspiration as far as like movements is, you know, I may get some mixed emotions or mixed response on this, but TJ Dillashaw.
Really?
Yeah, just the way he, and even Petr Yan, like how they mix up their stances in their fighting. Like, you know, for so long, if you're righty, you fight orthodox. You're southpaw, you're lefty. You stick in those stances. But I've been practicing southpaw and dabbling in both for probably about 10 years, right? And I remember even at first, Mr. Frank's like, oh, you know, you shouldn't like stick to orthodox, and then I'm like, okay, for sure. Like, he's my coach. I'll listen to him, but I still practice it on my own time. And then it got to the point where he's like, it's working for you, right? Like, that looks really good. And then that's become more of my style now. So when I see guys that are really good at that, even Chandler too. Michael Chandler's just a little stiff because every punch he throws is trying to knock you out.
Yeah.
But you got a guy like Dillashaw who's able to switch their stances really well, throw nice sneaky sequences. And so those are guys like I watch. Like, I watched the Sandhagen fight a lot because I was like, okay, and TJ's moving pretty well. And I'm not gonna lie, I sit there and like rewind, or watch certain combinations and practice them, right? So,
fun fact, I watched a breakdown of Peter Yan's fight.
The one he just had?
No, like back then, I think they were doing the rise of Peter Yan.
Yeah.
So I watched it. So they were explaining how he switches stances. Like sometimes when he throws a one, and then he switches to it, the two becomes also a one.
Yeah.
And then he walks you down, but he's doing that. Then come to the gym. I do the same thing. The next thing you hear, everybody stick to orthodox. I'm like, come on, man, somebody.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But what was you gotta give more context to that. It's like, if you've been training under X amount of times, right? You gotta walk before you run. If you come in there and you're like, okay, right? But you're getting to that point. How long have you been training with this now? For like on and off with COVID, probably about 3 years?
No, 1. I started last year. Like February. That's when I walked in.
Really?
Yeah, February 2020. Because I had a friend who used to train there. And
Who's your friend?
what's his name?
What's his name? You're getting put on blast on your own show, man.
He went to Calgary. Like, I haven't spoken to him.
Alright, we'll leave that for the next one.
But he used to train there and then would speak. He's like, oh, you should come train. I'm like, man, I don't. And then I went to one gym in downtown, but there they did the gi. So you do the gi, and then if you're not doing that one, you do Muay Thai on the side.
Oh, they didn't have no gi?
They didn't have it. So you choose, but then it's like the gi one, they will charge you like $300 for the gi.
Gis are expensive, yeah.
And then I'm like, if it's this expensive, I'm not about to do that. And then he's like, you should try FKP. I'm like, I'm not, bruh. These MMA people, they just want to grab my money. No. And then I went to his TriStar here.
TriStar, yeah.
But then those guys, I don't know what happened, but the communication was just bad. Then I came to FKP in February. The first day I remember this, and I laugh every time I see new people come in.
Yeah.
They walk in, there's the door when you drop off the bus. You walk in straight onto the mats, and then someone is running towards you.
Yeah.
Like, get up. And then in your head, you're like, what did I do?
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah.
I was so
sacrilege,
scared.
man. You can't walk on the mats with your shoes.
Yeah, but in your head, because I think Maria was partying when I walked in, and then she just started running. I'm like, Jesus.
Coming after you.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, what the hell? And then I went on the other side.
Oh, man.
And Mr. Franco, stop! I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, well.
Please. I'm like, oh, you knew, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, I didn't do anything. Don't hit me. But yeah, it was February last year. So, and then COVID.
Yeah, slow things down. I don't know. I think I thought you trained longer because you're there like every day.
Yeah.
Right? You're literally there almost 5 days a week.
Yeah, me, like I told Erica, if you tell me you can come at 8 o'clock in the morning,
yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah.
You said it. I'm like, if they say, I remember the other time where they were like, you can come at 12 to train.
Yeah, you came to both. You come in the afternoon, you come in the evening, right?
Yeah, because I was like, because the thing is, I wanted to be good so fast.
Yeah, and that's good.
Like,
You're getting your money's worth. You're getting your rounds. You're getting your experience, and it's like, I love being, not being fit. That sounds weird, but I love staying active and doing things that are active, right? So if I could train 4 or 5 hours a day, I would.
Oh yeah.
I got life, unfortunately, but I'll take off your opportunity I can.
Oh yeah, especially now for me the schedule, because the way I work, they just tell me next week you're working the whole week, and our work hours is 15 hours. So whenever I can,
you work 15 hours a week?
This is 15 hours a day.
15 hours a day. Oh, I was gonna say, damn, that's a pretty good gig, man. 15 hours a week.
15 hours a day. So you go in 6, you're there until maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
So those days you can't train, but then like whenever I'm not working, I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just feel, I don't know, it's like when you stop working out or doing what you do, it's like it goes away. Even though it's in you, but like, and then when you're there, when you do the afternoon class, you have Maria, and then you come to the evening class, there's you. It's like you're taking little things from everyone, and then
exactly, everybody's got something to offer, right?
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay. I love this. I love this. Okay, what was my question? I forgot. I'm sorry. The next one. What in your life do you feel most grateful for?
The relationships I have with people around me. Like obviously having both of my parents that are around, and I have the ability to see them, like they don't live in a different part of the world, or our relationship isn't strained. Having a good relationship with my wife, my son, having good friends around me, people that I can rely on, and having someone like Mr. Franco that is not only a coach but a mentor, a friend. The relationship I have with him is very special. I don't think I can say I have it. I don't even know really what to call it. He's kind of like an uncle, employer, best buddy, coach, person that punches me sometimes. It's a really, I don't know what the label to put on it, but he's a phenomenal person, and I owe a lot of where I'm at today to him, whether it's through the gym or just helping, because again, I've known him since I was 10 years old, so he has in a way shaped who I am personality wise, the way I interact with people, and it's really special. So I'm happy that I have someone like that on top of everybody that I have as well in my life.
If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Nothing. That sounds kind of cliche, but my upbringing wasn't perfect by any means, but it has helped me. I'm very happy where I am today. So it's like a time travel. You knock a pen off a table, something completely could change, right? So the things that I had to deal with have helped. I've had to overcome them and make me who I am today. So it sounds corny, but I wouldn't change anything.
Nice. Yeah. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?
My son. Again, corny, cheesy, but it's the truth. He's still young, but he's not a serial killer, which is good. He's a good kid. So far so good. And I'm happy that, and owning a very successful gym as well, like being in a position where I'm my own boss. Right. I love what I'm doing, right? I'm not working 15 hours over a hot grill at McDonald's for minimum wage, right? And then going to school and doing part-time stuff. I get to clock in at a certain time, do what I love, and be rewarded financially for it, right? It's great. It's awesome.
That's the best. I remember I always tell people, because if you work in the entertainment industry, it's it sucks sometimes because it's 15 hours.
Long
hours, 15 hours of having fun. It's not like we are flipping burgers, but it's you have your favorite actor, you're seeing them there, you spend 15 hours with them, and then after that, okay, I was in jail, bye.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my day.
A lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of stuff on set, so you're doing a lot of sitting around too, though.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot. You sit.
I feel like unless you're like a PA or something, you're just, you do your thing, and then you hang around and watch some YouTube videos.
Right? Yeah, and it's
and it's good pay.
It's good pay. So you're whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go out, every time you get to a restaurant,
one of, because we were doing, we do stunt choreography and fight choreography sometimes for people on shows and whatnot, and we're doing some of the stunt stuff, and one of the guys was getting thrown around. He's like, my shoulder's sore, and a loud hours or so. He was kind of complaining, right? And then the director goes, hey, what do I always tell you? And he goes, rub your check on it, it'll be fine. Right?
Yeah,
it's complain, but you're making good money, man. So get over it.
Yeah. For stunts, it's tricky though, because you can have a lot of money and spend it all on medical bills.
Yeah, exactly. You get thrown out of a glass window, and is it worth it?
Yeah, I don't know. They do it. They get paid well, but what do you value most in a friendship?
Loyalty. Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. It's not about what you bring to the table. It's about at the end of the day, your character, and not even just loyalty. Obviously, just your character. Are you a good person in the sense where I know I can rely on you? You're not going to do something to stab me in the back. You're not going to. You'll be there for me if I need you, because I'm the same way. If Doesn't matter if you're in my inner circle and I consider you my friend. Doesn't matter if you need me, I'm there, right? So I just would like that reciprocated. It's only fair, right?
Yeah. Loyalty. But what is there's a statement where they're like, loyalty is only when it's convenient.
Yeah, no. I don't like that.
Alright. What does friendship mean to you?
That's a good question. Oh man, this is deep. You kind of prepped me on some of these. What does friendship mean to me? It's kind of just touching on what I was just mentioning, right? Like just knowing that you have my back no matter what, and not like necessarily in a physical situation, but you know, whether it's emotional, physical support, like just knowing that I have people that are there for me. Is definitely something that is important. Like the people that I like to consider the people around me like friends or acquaintances, right? People, if I call you my friend, like that means, you know, it's a high praise. And the people that I do call my friends, I've known for like 8, 9, 10 years and over. Then I know that have been battle tested in a sense, where like they've been in situations that where their character has been tested and they've thrived, right? And that's the reason why I can rely on them and that they're still around. Right. So yeah, mainly just that, you know. All right. Repetitive answer there.
It's cool. What's something people seem to misunderstand about you?
I have RBF, which is resting bitch face. I always look angry. I always look like I'm upset, but I'm not.
Really?
I'm not. You know, I like to think I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm a pretty happy guy overall. Don't get me wrong. I'm human and I can't have my moments where, you know, I get upset or whatever. But for the most part, like people have always just assumed, like they look at me and they're like, oh my God, like that guy's so mean. Or like, well, like I remember all throughout high school, people were like, oh, he's so scary. Like he's so mean. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I have so many premature wrinkles around my eyes from smiling so much. Like I have crazy, dude, like I have wrinkles already at 27 from smiling. So like, how can I be mean and scary and, you know, come on. So people, if you see me, approach me, say hi.
Fun story. One time, the afternoon classes, I don't know, like it's people that were coming at those classes, like, you know, when Maria speaks, they're speaking.
Yeah.
And then one day, you came to do the class.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
In my head, I was going, y'all don't know. Just wait.
And that's just, you know, the culture and the structure we're trying to, you know, provide and keep at the gym, right? There's no freedom without discipline. If you come in here, you know, you're cussing, you're swearing, you're talking over the instructor, get out. Why am I going to try to battle for your attention? You are coming here to learn. You know, I wouldn't go to a mechanic and tell a mechanic how to fix my car, right? I'm going to go in there and let him do his job. Right. So I know the group you're talking about too.
Yeah, I was like, one, this day's gonna suck.
And you're caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, right? Just like, oh, man, this guy. Every time I'm walking up, I look at the parking lot, I'm like, come on. This guy is here today. Okay, fine. It's gonna be hell.
Yeah.
And then with this Coach Marie, like, okay, I know what she's like. She kills us.
Yeah.
And kind of killed by you. I'm like, okay, y'all pissing him off right now. This will only translate to one thing. We're gonna be in pain. but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. Okay. This one. If you could turn back the time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
In regards to anything life, it's not so bad. Suck it up. It gets better. And, you know, just keep your head down and keep grinding. Like, just, you know, because you have your moments, especially around that age. I feel like 18, 19, 20, 21. You're like, I just want to hang out with my friends, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got to put in the work. You got to, you know, pay your dues. And yeah, I think that's what I would just tell myself. It's like, hey man, just suck it up and just keep grinding.
Keep pushing.
Yeah, keep pushing.
Alright, and then this one's pretty long. What's the most important thing you've learned in your life? What was your life like before learning it? What was your life like after learning it?
God damn.
It's a 7-year-old. It's not.
It's a 7-year-old. This is one deep 7-year-old. What is the most important thing I've learned? Something from a very young age. So I don't know. I'll have to be a partial answer because this is like as far back as I can remember. Something my dad always told me. It was like I guess like a mantra, I guess you could say, that he would always say to me when I was younger is, treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, if you go out there and you act like an ass, people are going to perceive you as an ass, and they're going to treat you the same way. But if you're nice, if you're compassionate, if you have that sympathy for people, and if you treat them in a way that you would want someone to treat you, then good things are going to come from that, right? And that's something that, you know, again, I'm human. I have my moments where maybe I'm not the nicest person, but overall, that's, you know, what I'd like to... I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just totally blanked out there. It's, you know, it's something that I want to keep going in my life, and, you know, make sure that I have in my character, and pass it on to my son as well.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Treat people as you want to be treated, people.
Yeah, put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it. That's new merch coming out. What is the best compliment you have ever received?
Maybe not the best. It was probably one of the weirdest, but like I told, okay, cool, why not? I was teaching, because we go to teach at high schools martial arts, and as part of the PE program, and I was teaching at Van Tech, where Maria went, and she would come out of class and she would assist me in the classes, and some of the people that were in her school were like, oh, you know the guy with the nice calves? And until that moment, I never looked at my calves. Like, that's a nice calves. But it was just such a weird, like, not the martial arts guy, not the guy that's coming into, like, my identifier was my calves. I was like, wow, that's, you know, look at things from a different light right now.
Like, all the things,
right? I'll take it, sure.
Nice. You'll be shocked. Where I'm from, people don't like having big calves.
No?
Because it means you're either a runner, or you walk, or you do something physical. That's the only way. And we play a lot of soccer, so yeah. So with soccer, either you're a successful soccer player, or you're the opposite. You don't want to be the opposite.
Okay.
So everyone's like, nah, I have normal calves. Like, you guys would wear baggy jeans. Nah, I'm good. But like, we can see it. But yeah, pretty nice. What is your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Biggest failure. I don't know, you know, and that's completely honest. I know I've failed more times than I can count, and I know that I've, you know, probably done things that, you know, I'm not proud of, and you know, I've not been successful in that sense. But kind of like I mentioned earlier, like, you either win or you learn, right? Yeah. So in this situation, you know, it's either, you know, if anything bad, if you don't take a positive out of it, then it's a loss. Right. So, or it's a negative, and everything that I've tried to make it a positive, or at least take something from it, so I don't make the same mistake again. So that's my loophole to that question.
It reminds me of
a perfect man, no mistakes.
Yeah, you're like Kobe. What did Kobe say? His quote was, "There's no such thing as failure."
Yeah.
And then the interview goes, "Kobe, you're playing the final. You didn't win.
You lost.
You lost." And then he's like, "Yeah, but I didn't fail. I lost to win the championship. Now I go back and I study that, and then I'll come back. The only time I fail is when I stop and say, I cannot do it again."
That's why he, you know, again, that mentality, more than just being physically gifted as a basketball player, that winner mentality, right? That's why he's the GOAT, man.
Who's your favorite basketball player all time?
All time? You know, I'm not a big basketball guy. To be completely honest, I'm not a big sports guy, actually. What? I know.
You're the athlete.
Yeah, but I'm focused on my sport. I can talk my sport, I can talk boxing, I can talk jiu-jitsu, combat. But, you know, I can't, you know, I don't know the last time I watched a basketball game, to be completely honest. Hockey, not a fan. Mainly because, you know, the Canucks, whenever we do well, it always messes with our business because no one shows up to class. Everybody wants to watch. But yeah, you know, I'm just not really interested.
Favorite MMA fighter, then?
Yeah.
GSP? John Jones. Yeah.
I think it's John.
Really? More than GSP?
I don't know. It's tough. John is just like an anomaly. Yeah. He's a once in a lifetime fighter. Like, George is great. He's phenomenal. But you never know what John Jones is going to do. George St. Pierre is going to jab you to death. Yeah. He's going to take you down. He's going to punch you in the face. John can do that, or he can do a spinning elbow, or he can throw you over the cage. Like, he's so naturally gifted and so entertaining to watch. It's kind of like the only comparisons it was before my time, but like watching Mike Tyson fight. Right. Everybody's like, damn, Tyson is going in there and he's going to smash. Like, you have that type of excitement.
Yeah.
John Jones, 100%. Like, I get more nervous for a John Jones fight than I do for my own fights. Like, my heart is like pounding, my palms are sweaty, I'm like watching. So I think from an entertainment standpoint, it has to be John. Yeah.
How did you feel with Dominic Reyes fight?
That was terrible. My heart was pretty, you know, that one. But, you know, John's biggest curse and his hindrance is his talent. Yeah. Like when he fought, I keep wanting to say Stipe, but Gustafsson.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was out doing blow and hanging out with hookers the night before the fight. I was like, come on, man, you can't do that. Like, you're good, but you cannot do that. You have to just...
You gotta be disciplined.
You gotta be disciplined. And, you know, right now, like, he got kicked out of his gym. Yeah. They brought him back now, but, like, that's not a good sign. When you get kicked out of your gym, like, it's not good, John. He beat up his wife.
Yeah.
Like, I can only root for you for so long. You know?
Yeah. That was the hard part. I was like,
yeah.
I was used to defend, like, you know, you're your own man.
Yeah, exactly.
You're your own man.
I'm here to support when you fight, but I can't, you know, your extracurriculars.
You're your own man. And then, what are your 3 non-negotiables?
What do you mean?
Like no negotiations. Like, say, values in people, my actions. Like, for me, I know complaining is a non-negotiable.
Complaining?
Yeah, complaining. Do something about it. Don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yo, you sure a 7-year-old rookie?
Oh, this one's actually a 5-year-old now.
Oh, 5-year-old. Oh,
this is the 7-year-old one I'm done.
Prodigies. Okay. I don't know. Non-negotiables. I think I might have to pass on this one, plead the fifth. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Alright. Do you have a quote you live by?
Code?
Yeah.
And these are, oh man.
You should just meet my nephews, man. They're pretty awesome.
They write these?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, give me questions.
Oh, you lazy interview. Getting other people to work.
Yeah, get the family involved.
Different perspectives, right? Okay. A code that I live by. You know, they're so simple, but they're so tough. Like, you think that I'd have these just like fired off, like those guys that have death before dishonor tattooed on their chest. Yeah. I could just show that tattoo, but codes that I live by. I would say, you know, again, treat people the way you want to be treated, and I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't know how to word it, but you know, we're only, again, here on earth for so long, right? We're only able to do so much. You know, strive for that greatness in whatever it is that you're doing, because you don't want to be 60 years old thinking back like, damn, what could I have done? You don't want to have regret, right? Yeah. So, you know, shoot your shot, go for it. If you fail, you fail. Or if you don't achieve your goal, you know, you don't, but at least you won't live with regret at the end.
And do you read books?
I read books. I used to read a lot more, but it's hard for me I don't have much time now. Yeah. So I do read a lot of anime or manga before bed just to kind of unwind. That's just because it's easy. It's on my phone. Actually, I don't remember. Oh, the last book. Oh my god. So I went through this like phase where I need to read more, right? And I was like looking through my books. I'm like, Dante's Inferno. I should pick this up and read it. Yeah. I needed a dictionary for that. It was every other word. I was like, what the? It was one of the hardest reads I've ever done. So I think that was the last book I partially read, but I didn't really understand much of it.
So the follow-up to that, is there a book you'd recommend people read? That this impacted me.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Ooh. It's actually a good one. It's a good one. Have you read it?
I haven't read it. I think I'm the same with you. I don't have the time.
The time, yeah. You're working 15-hour days. You don't have time for anything. You have time for work and sleep.
Yeah, it's like sleep and then you wake up like the book. Now I think in my like Kindle, like because every time someone says this book, buy it.
Yeah, right. You gotta
read the first page. Like, okay, how did you? It's been a year.
Yeah.
And then, what's your golden rule?
My golden rule. Goddamn.
I told you, I'll introduce you to my nephew.
Yeah, these 5-year-olds, man. Holy. I don't think I have one. I probably do. I just
can't think of it.
I don't have it on, you know, I can't. It doesn't come to mind.
Alright. Fair enough.
I need to really like look inwards and reflect on myself here.
And then for yourself, when you're 80, how would you define success for yourself?
Again, this is gonna sound corny and cheesy, but my son or my children, if knock on wood, I'm okay with just one, but it's a blessing in disguise if I have another one. To see how he's doing and to make sure that he's a good man, because that's all I can really leave at the end of the day, right? Like money, materialistic stuff, it goes. He's the next generation. He's how I'll live on. So I got to make sure that he's a good man. He has good values. He has good family. He takes care of his people, and that will be success for me. Not about how much money I have in my account.
I can take your account.
Yeah, you can take it.
If it doesn't matter, I'll take it.
Yeah, fight me for it.
No, I'm not gonna fight you. I have someone who's been threatening to fight you. My roommate says, "Your coach, I can beat him." I'm like, "Guy,
bring him by."
like, guy, you don't wanna talk this. He's like, "What's MMA?" Like, okay.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah,
One day.
Trial class.
You can come and do your thing. Show off. And then, is there a question that I didn't ask you?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions you asked me that I couldn't answer. Does that count? I don't know.
And okay. And then, do you have a question for me?
I have a question for you. Why'd you take up training? Why'd you start taking it? Because your friend told you to?
No. So what happened? Growing up, I was those smart kids. Mm-hmm. So I would always have people who can fight around me. Mm-hmm. And then when I moved to Canada, that was hard. Mm-hmm. And one day when I was downtown, a guy just walked up to me, like those junkies with the needle.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, "Do you have a problem?" I'm like, and then I felt fear. Like,
yeah.
I was like, "Man, this guy can mess me up."
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was telling my friend, like, "Yo, I think I cannot actually fight. Like, I know I've seen like action movies, but in real life, I don't think I'll be calm enough to do it." And he suggested like, "Oh, you should look at training." I'm like, "Oh, they teach people how?" Because I always thought you have to start training when you're like 4, mm-hmm. or like, because for us back home, if you want to be in boxing, you start as a young kid. You don't study as well. It's like, "Oh yeah, just go, just sign up. Like, they'll beat me up." Exactly. You need somewhere you be beaten up, but it's in a train.
It's better that you get beat up in a room full of people that are nice and compassionate than beat up by a junkie downtown, right? Yeah. So, well, I'm glad that you came by. Martial arts it does so much for people. It's more than just punching and kicking, because that confidence, right? The self-defense factor for sure. And I think everybody it should be like mandatory. You do at least like 1 year of martial arts, even if you don't want to compete and fight, just for like the mental component of it, right?
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. And the way you just count, like I would enter into rooms and now I just like, "Okay, what's up?"
Yeah, right.
Like, guy, are you not scared? Like, what you gonna do?
And it's funny because like you can even be, you come to the gym and say you're losing 5 out of 6 rounds. Yeah. Those guys are like all trained killers though, like regular Joe Schmo who plays soccer on the weekend. Like, come on, like, So it's good, man. It's definitely it's like swimming. Yeah. Right? You got to know how to swim. You got to know how to defend yourself if someone tries to fight you, right? So
you gotta have the confidence. Yeah. And then as an MMA, listen to me saying, anime lover, what anime would you recommend?
Ooh, anime. There's a lot. There's the Naruto for sure is a classic.
Too long.
It's too long. Yeah. Well, that you want to be invested in something, right? If you want something short, you can go seasonal. Like there's usually like 12 episodes. They come out every once in a while. Naruto's a good one. Bleach is a good one. One Piece I wouldn't recommend because there's like over 1,000 episodes. It take you years to do. There's actually, you play soccer, right?
Yeah.
There's a soccer one coming out soon. It's called Blue Lock. It's like the Japanese soccer team has never won the World Cup, so like there's this new idea to take all like the best strikers and lock them in this like program, and then you have to like the person who comes out of there will lead Japan to the World Cup, and it's actually pretty good. It's not like superpowers, but it's soccer, and it's sports anime is actually pretty underrated. It's cool. Yeah, there's no like fighting power-ups or anything, but it's just sports, but it's cool, man.
Yeah.
Blue Lock.
My favorite anime is what's it called? Ainkira.
Death Note. If you like Death Note, you should watch Code Geass. Yeah, Gease or SSE. It's similar, like really smart, like psychological kind of, but it's a more lighthearted, but that one's good. And then also Psychopaths. Psychopaths is a good one. It's like it's like in the future, so everybody has a psychopath where it's like their likelihood of committing a crime, and if it's so high, they just come out and kill you right away, right? It's because it's like, okay, this guy could potentially be a murderer, you're gonna kill him before he does it. And then there's people that are able to beat it, like their psychopath doesn't show up, so it's really like psychological and it's a little darker. It's a good one. I think you like it. If you like Death Note.
Yeah, Death Note was crazy.
I know. I had a Death Note in elementary school.
Yeah.
I got in so much trouble for it because like the opening, I bought it from like some anime store. You open the first page, it has all the rules on like how to kill people. My teacher was like, "Why is their names in here?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I was like grade 4 or something, playing around."
I'm trying to tick them out.
Exactly. Your name's in here, man. What do you mean? Like,
I'm cute. All right. Any last words for people?
No, man. That was awesome. Thank you so much for having me again. Sorry for pushing it back and not putting it off. But again, we get caught up in life and stuff. But I'm glad I got to break in the new studio and the new place, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for coming, guys. This is, if I ever punch you, you know who to blame. I didn't know how to do it, but yeah, I've taken. I'm trying to adapt his movements. If I can move like you, that'll be an accomplishment. I'll then retire.
Yeah, you'll get there, man. You'll get there. And December 3rd, BFL, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. If you are interested in checking me out live in action, I'll be there. Kicking ass. And then, hopefully we got Kyle fighting earlier next year as well. Maria wants to make her return back to the cage. And then we got some of the other fighters, Kenny and David, that are looking to come back as well. So FKP in full effect, and then mid next year we get Kevin in there and we get him number 1 contender.
Yeah, just take me to the UFC street.
There we go. We'll just skip and go straight to
skip everybody. I want to fight Kamaru, because either Kamaru or Israel.
Did you hear that they're trying to book that as a fight?
Kamaru and Israel?
Yeah.
But then they said they won't fight though.
No, they're saying is there's a difference between competing and fighting? They'll compete, but they want 100 million.
Oh.
So, man, that could be good, though. I don't know what weight that would be at. Catch weight?
I don't want to see.
No, man, you're rooting for both guys, right?
Yeah. But either, I think I'll go easy.
Ngannou will ref it. It'll be perfect.
I'll be with Team Easy. Like, I love Kamaru, but Easy is my guy.
Yeah.
Easy is my guy. If I was a fighter, I'd like to fight Easy, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it'll be I like striking more than grappling and stuff. So as long as, for striking there's more, grappling, whoever's on top is winning.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like watching Khabib, I know people love him, but I was bored. I'm like, come on, it's done. There's nothing you can do.
Once he takes you down, it's just like, all right, good, it's over.
Yeah, like that's what. Yeah, yesterday I sparred with Maria, and then I don't know what she did, but I couldn't move. Like,
that's not very descriptive. That could be anything.
No, like she was in side control.
Yeah.
So it's like I remember it's you put your face cross face and then you do this and try to get out.
Yeah, shrimping.
I couldn't do it.
No,
nothing.
Like, she's good. She's got 2 titles in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
she's been training for 20 years, 21 years.
I felt helpless. You're trying everything.
Yeah.
You know what? Just check me out. Just do what you have to. But I was like, yeah, whatever she's done. This is the first time I cannot control my body. I cannot feel anything. Like, you're trying to kick up. You're trying to do everything. She's just like, are you done?
Are you done or you finished?
Yeah. And then you just chop. You did the Van Flu chop on me.
Because you always try to get me with it. So I was like,